What's up, Buffalo Bill fans? I'm definitely going to come do a post game video here. It's obviously a much better Sunday night, early Monday morning than it's been in the last few weeks. It was like, wow, where has this been? Where has this been? And you know, you could say what you want about it coming against the 1-9 Chiefs team. Chiefs have been playing hard. They really have. They've come close to beating some very good teams. You know, and they've just come up on the short end of the stick on a lot of those games. So I think that you can't judge your schedule. You can only play your schedule and win the games on your schedule. I know a lot of Bills fans will want to pick on the fact that it was a 1-9 team, but still especially the four straight losses, you got to take them where you can get them. And it was definitely a big win and a much needed performance from Trent Edwards after the last few weeks. It was getting progressively worse, and this week was just the remedy for him. And Kansas City was dangerous because they were second in the league in turnover ratio, and Buffalo I think was plus 4 or 5. Simple formula: you get good play out of your quarterback, you mix up the plays. I noticed a little more play action today, a little more rolling out. It was nice to see, and you don't turn the football over, and you get turnovers. Leotis is, ever since I talked shit about him for laughing at the end of that Patriots game, I swear the guy's been playing lights out. He's played a really good cornerback in the wake of the Jabari injury. I mean, he's made some plays on some balls, and that was the big knock on him, is he didn't have good ball skills. And you've seen last week against the Browns, he almost had a pick. It was a nice play. I wish he could have got that, but got to move on. And this week he jumped the route, and it was a pick six. It was beautiful. Just exactly what they've been needing. But the continued problem for the defense is, getting pressure on the quarterback. They were able to manufacture some sacks. They had a thick pin in the end zone, and it was a couple of times where Mitchell blew a couple of sacks, but big win, 54 points. You can't complain. It was a bad start to the game. Kansas City just walks down the field and scores. Buffalo answers that with a big 4th-and-1 run by Marshawn. It was just a nice balance on offense. And one thing, I don't know, most of you Bill fans noticed it. If you did, I thought it was interesting that you saw Schoner in the booth for the first time this whole season, and it maybe gave him a little bit perspective of what the coverages were, where Trent could go with the ball as opposed to not go. You saw him hit Lee on the big pass, 51 yards. It was really nice to see. And then you saw him take another shot deep, which even though if the ball's not completed, it's still the thought is there that you saw the passes downfield, and you saw the the you know the the intent to just go, and it was just nice to see as opposed to checking it down. Obviously, Josh Reed is as big a part of the offense as I said he might have not been. He's definitely, it's obvious now that he is definitely Trent's feel good guy on third down. He's a receiver that Trent feels very comfortable throwing the football, and it's obviously very important. But it was a big bounce back win for Trent. He ran in a couple of touchdowns. People questioned a lot of things about him, about his mobility and his arm strength, and he's got both. He really does. And I think that these upcoming weeks are going to be key for him as well. But it was a huge win today. Still a firm believer that Jaron's not the coach for this team, but that's my opinion, and I feel like that's true. It's just really the way I feel. But I had a great time seeing the game today down in Hoboken at the Shannon. It was a great time, great Bills fans, a great crowd. It was just really exciting to get this win. I feel Buffalo can beat any team in the league, really. I really do. That's what the most frustrating part is that that they're capable of beating these teams, and they're beating themselves with dumb turnovers and just penalties. This is, I gotta find one thing to bitch about, and this is nothing to do with the Bills, but the league really needs to look at its officiating, and this is the third straight week Buffalo has been burned on an unnecessary roughness penalty. Tony Gonzalez pushes George Wilson into Thigpen, pushes him, and Buffalo gets flagged 15 yards. I mean, if that's a key play in a closer game, that could cost Buffalo a playoff spot, could cost, a tiebreaker. That's unbelievable. and this is the third week. First was the Randy Moss hit. Last week was, Mitchell pushing Harrison out of bounds. And, what are you supposed to do? Let the guy skirt up field? You got to push the guy out of bounds. And this week, he gets pushed into it by the opposing player. The league's really got to look at. I think refs have become way too flag happy. They let players influence whether they're going to throw the flag. They see the reaction, they're drawing, and you see you see it more and more nowadays. You see these flags come in 10, 15 seconds after the play's done because of the reaction of a player, and that's just ridiculous. And the NFL really needs to clean this up. I think you've got too many old men out there trying to run around and watch world-class athletes at a high level, and it's obviously not working out. But it was a huge win, a much needed win, a really much needed win, a much needed performance from Trent. Big up to Trent. You're the quarterback of this team. You're the quarterback of the present, the future, and you played like it today. And you're capable of this and much more. And it was just a good day for us Bills fans, and I hope you guys liked the videos. Thanks for all the positive stuff, all the positive feedback. I'll be there to talk about them when they're down, but I'm there to give them props when they do their thing and do what we all know that they're capable of doing. And these 5 weeks coming up are going to be real huge. I don't think Buffalo, it's going to be a dogfight, and hopefully Buffalo can get some key guys back. Greer, Whitner, hopefully Schobel. God, if he gets on the practice field, that'd be really nice. I think they really are getting to the point where we need to see if this guy can play. But if he can get another week's rest in and then be healthy enough, Buffalo, this is, so much wishful thinking, but just with the hope, they can get everybody healthy, win this 49ers game and then get everybody healthy for the last 4 weeks when they have to play, 3 more division games and then a division leader in the Denver Broncos. So that I think if Buffalo can get Whitner, Greer, Schobel, arguably 3 of their top defensive players back, and then Trent can continue getting back on track, we could, things can get interesting again. It really is. It's really nice to see the Bills this time of year, at least playing meaningful games. It really is a big change of pace, and hopefully that can continue. But until then, Buffalo Bill fans, you have a great week. It was a great week for us. First time in a while we could take a breath and relax throughout the week and just think about some positive stuff rather than, just lots of worries like we have been. But you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all you Bills fans. You guys have a great, safe weekend with your families, and take care.